we'll close it off. Sorry about that, guys. I lost my internet right when Warren was gonna reveal his relationship status. So it'll stay a mystery. Why does that keep cutting off when you?
Yeah, it keeps cutting off for me too.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I do still want to wrap it up in terms of where we were in the relationship part, where you're saying communication. Like you wish that there would there'd be more stuff to talk about, or just deeper things to talk about, or just more interesting things to talk about. Because there's nothing to do, so there's nothing to talk about. Is that what it is?
Any talk.
Any talking, not just
Any
computers
talking.
sitting next to each other.
Yeah. But it all depends. Like, that's just me. I don't think Mike cares.
What about like
That's all-
watching a movie together? Do you guys just do that alone?
Yeah, we do that.
But you want to talk?
I like interaction sometimes.
Like over dinner?
Sure. But when we're eating, we watch something.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah. And then when we're done, we play games or we're here with you guys. And that's
So-
fine with me. It's just I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I just want to have face-to-face conversation, you know?
Did you tell him that?
No, but I think he knows when I ask him, like, how was your day? What'd you do? Okay. It's on the computer now.
Okay, well, I think he knows now, so that's good.
What am I supposed to start the conversation? I literally just play games all day.
Okay,
I know, that's what I mean. Like, I know what you're doing already. I know that there's nothing to talk about. So,
I don't necessarily think that's true, that there's nothing to talk about.
there is nothing to talk about because
Nothing happened?
like I can talk to him about my work, but if I'm off work, there's absolutely nothing to talk about.
If something comes up, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, right? Like, for
Why doesn't
me,
this feel
there
like
are...
a therapist
No.
conversation?
I'm just saying that because we started living together, there's less things to talk about because we are always together. That's all.
We interrupt this segment of Dr. Phil to bring you this special announcement. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
The wrong person left when you called.
I'm not saying it's a problem or anything. It's just that's
But-
one of the changes I see because of COVID and our situation now.
Like, there's less subject matter to talk about. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now,
But that's a given though, because if you're not living together, then you have all this time apart from each other, and then when you meet, you spend all that time catching up, right?
of what
But if
happened.
Yeah,
you live,
exactly.
yeah,
But
but if
I
you
didn't
live
know
together,
that,
then
right? But I
what do you mean?
didn't
You didn't
know.
know?
I didn't like think about it. I'm not gonna think, okay, if we start living together, these are gonna change or whatever.
Okay,
It's
so
like happened and I noticed it.
like DayDay, you've noticed too. You talk less, but you don't miss that. You don't want that. You don't think it's something
No,
you should
because
focus on more.
because that was that was just that's in the past. That's the past phase, right? Like this is the current phase where yeah, we don't have that, but we're living together and we're spending every waking moment with each other. Like that's the trade-off, right? Like you can't have both.
Why not?
Because if you
You'll eventually run out of things to
Yeah,
talk about when you
because-
know each other
no.
enough. No.
If you yeah, exactly. If you expect to maintain that kind of conversation and new topics and always talking about things, I don't think you've reached that level of depth. You still don't know that much about each other that you need that kind of thing to I don't know, satisfy yourself with the whole like relationship
I
type of
literally,
deal?
I didn't mean anything deep or anything. It's not like I wanted something new or like old or something. It's just me, like
They're not
the
trying to
fact
find more things about each other. They already know each other very well.
I'm
They
not
just
talking
want to
about
talk
like
together.
that.
They
I'm
just wants
saying,
a
like, I like
conversation.
Sometimes I like
Conversation.
meeting somebody like Mike, and just interacting, and that's it. Not for long, not for short or anything, just but
Mhm.
just because I couldn't find any topic to talk about, I would ask him random questions that I already know the answer to.
Okay,
That's so sad.
I'm not an expert. I'm not Paul and whatever. But I'm what DayDay's saying is like, well, we already know everything we need to know about each other. We've reached that depth. We don't need it anymore. That might be true for your relationship, DayDay, where you guys don't find the need to have to converse anymore or have that conversation aspect of your relationship, and that's fine. That works for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with Sharon wanting to have a conversation with her partner or a conversation at all, even if it's something that they already know. So right now, the challenge is all the things that they can talk about, they already know the answers to. So I'm just in my head, when you come up with something like that, then you come up with new things to talk about together. You decide on something you can talk about together if you want to talk about something. Like, this is a weekly we see each other online, Discord, every night. And it's not a direct comparison, but I'm just saying we've chosen topics to talk about today, and we're having a stimulating, intelligent conversation about certain subjects today because we chose to. We've committed to it, and then it happens. This is a bit long probably than people want it to be. It could be 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but it's a decision you make. And I think any relationship can choose to do that if they want to have conversation as part of their relationship. I don't think it's impossible for them. And it's also DayDay, if you and Hiji find like you want to have that, you have that option
it's
too.
it's not like I'm saying that we don't talk, period. Like it's obviously going to be less compared to the beginning phase of the relationship when you don't know that much about each other, right?
Mhm.
And like, I mean, maybe I misunderstood the intent of wanting to talk and stuff, but what I understood it was like I still want to talk to you about things that I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think that's a difference between
Yeah.
talking because you want to get to know someone and
Yeah, that's
talking
different.
because we have nobody else to talk to because of quarantine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
that's a completely
it's just
different thing.
wanting the yeah, and I think Sharon's is the
The
latter.
latter, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just
Then I understand. Yeah.
Well, that's just okay. You mentioned two sides. I think there's a third side where it's not to find out more about each other. It's not also just to look for someone to talk to. It's because two people in a relationship want to have a stimulating conversation back and forth. Like, they already know
Like
everything they know
fight?
about each other. No, like if people do it when they talk about politics, or if you watch a movie together and then after the movie you talk about the movie together. It's
I don't
like
think I've
opinions
ever.
and perspectives. Like, like if we all watched a movie together and at the end of the movie we all talk about it and
yeah,
think
isn't
about
that
what
the
we.
same as just wanting to have a stimulating conversation with anybody? That's what I mean. It
But
sure
no,
could
but
be
I
with your
think
partner,
Sharon
but
specifically wants it with her partner, like with Mike. Like, it's not like she wants that with anybody. She wants it with her significant other, and I want that with my significant other too. Like,
well, I think everybody wants that, but I think she's just looking for more stimulating conversation in general.
Yeah, in
That
in
seems
general
to
with
be
with
how it
with
came
his
off.
with her
with Mike.
with
Yes,
Mike though.
Mike.
Yeah. See, so
Yes,
it's because it's specifically with your partner. I think the couple needs to decide on that, like as like picking a subject and dedicating a time to be able to have that.
I'm really sorry I brought this up.
I don't think it has to be specific to you though, because I think that's what happened to all these other relationships or whatever.
Yeah, and honestly, like it wasn't like that important. I just brought it up because we're talking about COVID and like how things change.
I
And
know it seems like it's targeted towards you guys. It's not. I'm trying to speak on behalf of anyone else who also has a relationship where they feel like they're spending a lot of time together and they're not having enough exchange because they're with each other the whole day. Like, as you guys, as DayDay said, you're home all the time and you guys are there all the time. There's not to talk about because you're always together. But some people want to talk. So if you don't have something to talk about because your everyday routine is the same crap or whatever, then you make you choose something. You make
Yeah.
time and you choose a topic and then you talk about it intently, so then you can have that.
Easier said than done.
It's
I
not
think
easy.
everything's-
It's not easy.
No,
It's a decision to make where if someone needs that in the relationship,
Yeah.
if someone needs it and you don't provide it, what could
Don't
happen?
make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I don't know. For me, like personally, if someone was like that, not to say like Sharon is like that, but like if someone is that type of person who always needs to have that kind of new engagement and conversation, I can't. I'm
I know.
sorry.
Okay,
That's-
No, but it's not for. There's the thing. There's the thing. DayDay. Okay, that's why I tried to generalize it. I just tried to generalize it. It's not for everyone.
It's not about you anymore, Sharon.
It's not about
you.
Sharon.
not
It's
about
not about DayDay.
Okay, actually, here's what I'll ask.
It's so funny.
Okay. Here, Sharon.
It's
here's
like
what I'll
people who
ask.
make a date night. It's
People
like
are
when
gonna think of
when-
me as your
no,
girlfriend.
no, it's
No,
like
no,
it's when
no,
people
no,
it's
no.
when people make like a date night. It's the same idea. Like you dedicate a time to focus on the relationship.
Like
Mike,
date night, I understand.
No, I understand that. Okay, I understand that. But the way FJ was saying it was that the way you're saying it is it on me to come up with the subject?
No,
No, he's saying
No.
to decide together, but I meant okay, when you're talking about like deciding together thing, that's like too much. Like it's not that deep, you know what I mean?
it doesn't have to. Oh,
Yeah.
again, that's when it was no longer about you specifically. That's when it was no longer
Yeah.
about you specifically. If it's not that significant to you, you guys don't need to do it. You guys are fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course there are people out there like
Mhm.
who really wants it, and that's
You
something
see, you
that
see
they
it in
can-
their profile when they write
Yes,
about
and
it
it's
too.
not
They're
you.
like, we
Yeah.
like
Just make that clear.
like intellectual conversations, like talking about politics, like talking about literature, books, or movies, or whatever like that. It exists. I'm just acknowledging the fact that need exists in certain relationships.
But I think people like that, like you can tell from the start of the relationship.
Yeah.
And if it continues, then you
Yep.
know that that person is just like that. They need to keep talking to you and have
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
conversations and blah blah blah.
100%.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Good for you, Mike. You don't have to sleep outside tonight.
You passed the
Wait, what?
test.
What test?
It's there.
Mission
Guys,
accomplished.
Deviate like it's not the focus is not on them specifically. Mike, you asked that question. Is it fall on you? It doesn't. No.
I'm an amazing girlfriend, and I give all the space he needs.
I'm saying if someone in a relationship
She says.
last generic thing. Stop focusing. No more names. Okay. This is again only a personal opinion too. I'm speaking a lot, but I'm as an idealist. I think if someone needs it in a relationship, that person who needs it needs to communicate it effectively with their partner in a way where their partner's gonna want to share and put effort to make it work back into it, and they decide together. It's just like
But you don't necessarily have to bring it up. You just talk about it. You should just be able to, if you
No,
want to.
he's saying that if the other person doesn't, and the other person really needs it, then they can decide it and bring it up. Okay.
Yeah. It's up to the person. It's up to the person who actually needs it to say that they need it.
Careful there, Warren. Warren.
Anywho,
Yeah, Sharon's the best girlfriend.
I think Tyler, you're gonna say something.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I don't know. It sounded like you guys were just talking around each other, like on different points. So it was kind of weird, but like, it's one thing like for someone to walk conversation, like it's not something to be like too demanding, to, like ask someone to talk about it. Like someone wants to talk about it, they can talk about it, and it's up to the other person to like give it back to them, right? It's not just on the one person that needs the conversation. Like, oh, they need to like be the one to bring it up. It's also up to the other
Yeah.
person to be accepting of the conversation, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure. 100%.
And like with me, because like I live with roommates and stuff, we see each other every day. Most of us are unemployed right now, and like if we don't want to talk about something, we just alright, like, let's not talk about it. We just go our separate ways. We just do our own thing.
Like you go in your
But
rooms.
we'll hang out when we want to hang out. Yeah,
Like you
exactly,
have
yeah,
your
do our own thing.
space though that's closed off.
Yeah, there's common area. We work out every so often together and stuff. Morning coffees.
Nice.
But
good.
like yeah, some of us like crave certain conversations, but like we're just not like adept to like give that kind of conversation to each other. So it's whatever, we just go do our own thing. Like we're all aware of it. Like we know, like oh, this person's into that kind of stuff, but no one else really knows about that kind of stuff in the house. So like, kind of just left to their own devices. It's not like on them to put it like, even if like you were in a relationship, like you shouldn't feel that obligation to like fuel that conversation, right? If you're like they're not into it.
Yeah.
So.
Like I don't
my
ever want to
defense.
do stuff because I have to. It's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that becomes a chore, right?
It's like
true.
it's like I
Becomes
don't
a-
want you to wash the dishes. I want you to want to wash the dishes. That thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
No. Dishes are
Well,
different.
that's a little different. This is just that's something you have to do. But like,
Oh god, not like Cardell, please.
No,
like,
I'm
Yeah, like the
I,
relationship.
I know what you're
Maintaining
saying.
a relationship isn't.
I know what you're saying, where it's like you don't want to feel like you have to do something because it's expected of you. I hate that too. But if you didn't know that your partner valued something, how would you know that you'd want to fulfill it for them? Like if you love your partner, obviously you want to do things that make them happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say there's this aspect of something that they really like, but they never tell you that they like it. How are you gonna?
depends
How would
if-
you fulfill it if you didn't know?
Well, why are they
you
not
wouldn't
telling you
know
at that point?
I wouldn't know if he didn't tell you.
If they
But
didn't
even
tell
if
you.
they- even
So
if
if
they
it reached
even
a
if they
point where-
told me.
Okay, yeah. What?
I'm sorry.
So
No,
we
I'm
reached,
just saying.
so we reached the
Go.
point where they've told me, like, oh, well, this is new.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would be open to exploring it, but like beyond that, if I didn't like it, I'd let them know.
Yeah.
And then beyond
Yeah.
that,
It's
if I did
a
let them know,
it's
and
a
if I
back
told
and
them
forth.
that like I didn't like it, it wouldn't be like they'd be like, oh, well, you don't like it, well, shit, I guess we're out of luck, it's over. kind of
No,
thing.
yeah, but
not
it's
fair to say
something
that, yeah.
that's now you've reached a point where that's a topic though. That's a topic now that you know you disagree on, and you can try and work out
Yeah.
if you need to. It's not quite the same with like a roommate. I don't know what the level of significance that you feel with your roommates, but you do still have that space to isolate yourselves from each other when you need that. It's different when you're, I guess, a couple sharing a home. Like the whole space is each other's spaces, unless you designate this is her space or his space or whatever like that. But
I think it's like same as it's not just like a relationship too. Like I remember when I used to live with my brother, and I wanted to
No,
have
let's
a
not go there.
conversation. Like I would want to have a conversation with him.
but he's not having it.
It's not you,
no,
Mike.
he's listening. He's listening. He's listening, right? So I'm like, okay, blah blah blah, talking, and he goes, and then I'm like, why are you closing your eyes? I'm talking to you, and he's like, oh, I'm listening. But like, it feels like to me like he's done with the conversation, and then I'll be like, okay, and then I'll just leave the room. Like that, like that's like the other person might feel like, okay, I feel like this person is trying to like meet what I want, but at the same time it doesn't feel satisfying.
It's not genuine. You can tell.
It's not, yeah, it's not. So
But then what you did there was like you leave and you end it. I think that's
yeah, but I
considerate because
think
you
it'll
know
be
that.
different. Like that's just because it's my brother. If Mike did that to me,
He'd be sleeping outside.
Sleeping with Cody.
no, I wouldn't. No, I would just be like kind of sad that like, oh, okay, well, I wanted to talk, but I guess he doesn't. So then, of course, I'm not gonna force it. But like what Tyler said, like it has to be like mutual, and also like not obligated to, have a conversation if you don't feel like it.
Yeah, you can't
But
get
it's
mad at your partner if they're not.
Oh,
Meeting,
yeah, but then you
yeah.
can feel sad, right?
Well, you can. I think you can.
Yeah.
That's normal. You can feel anything you
wrong with
want.
that.
Right. 7:30. Time to relationship talk.
What?
Oh, well, no, that's if they both agree on something like
Kidding.
that, right? Like a date
Yeah.
night or something like
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But like in a scenario where you just start a conversation and then maybe one person's talking a lot and then the other person's done, generally the other person's not going to just start closing their eyes and not paying attention anymore, but then maybe that person's be like, all right, so let's go do something else or whatever. Like you can kind of gauge the energy. The conversation could be done and then you move on, but like at least you had the exchange. It's not supposed to feel like an obligation or a job or part of your job description in a relationship. It's if you want to please your partner and you want to do it, then you do. But if you don't, then you don't. So some days is good, some days not so good. But
But you can still feel like it's a job, right? Even if you're like, I don't want to do it, but I know I should because I love this person and it'll make this person happy. So you do it just for that, but you feel like at the same time it's like a job.
Well, that
well, wouldn't you stop
depend-
at
like-
that point?
I wouldn't. Yeah,
Sorry?
you wouldn't be doing it if you
Really?
felt that if if you didn't like doing it, then I don't think you should do it just because the
Well,
partner
Make the other
likes it.
person happy?
Yeah, that's stupid. I think that's stupid.
Really?
If you felt
Yeah.
like it's a job, it's not genuine anymore. Right?
It doesn't have to be genuine. Does it have to be genuine?
That's even worse. Why are you doing something that's
Well,
not
I
genuine?
feel like it depends like where you're coming from, right? Because like
Yeah.
I may not like doing something for somebody, but I might like making that person like generally making that person happy, so I don't mind doing that thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna make them happy,
Agreed.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't
Like
mind,
unless
then
it's like
fine.
causing if it's causing me like mental distress, like yeah,
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
no,
gonna
no.
do that.
That,
Right?
Yeah,
that
where it
extreme,
physically
but
hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like if I'm not gonna hit myself after, I'm probably not gonna do it. But like if it's something I don't like doing, but I know that someone else likes doing it, and I know we could have a good time doing it, I'll still do it.
I
Right?
That's just me.
Or
Yeah,
even
I
if
think
you
it's
have
a
wrong with
level of
being nice.
communication that you have to
Yeah.
have.
It's a level
I
of
think
like
that's it.
how open you are to doing something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's just
I
the
think as
same
long as
as
you talk about it, if you're on the same page, then if it's a matter of compromise or if it's a matter of wanting to make the other person happy. I don't know, I tell like me and Michaela talk about it all the time. It's just like I feel we have a pretty open line of communication, and if we're uncomfortable, we'll say it, and it's never a fun conversation, but it's we do it because we love each other. So
Yeah.
I love you too, Warren.
Did you hear that, Warren? No. I wanted to make sure.
cute.
So you heard it, right, Warren? Just checking.
it doesn't just go with relationships too. One of you guys reach out to one of us and you need someone to listen, that person chooses if they can allot the time to listen or not, and more often than not it is when you need each other. But when someone's not available, that person reaching out asking for that help understands and doesn't get mad at that person for not being available, or doesn't feel sad that it's happened in this Brack team circle thing over the years. So it's that sort of level of understanding, like when you need it, you can go and ask for it, but if it's not available, then you understand that it's not available and it's just not the timing or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Nope, I think you hit that right on the head. It is just that level of understanding whoever your friends are, your partner is. If you don't have that understanding, then you can't have that expectation either.
Yeah.
If you
Once you
don't
start-
talk about it and they don't know, then that's
Yeah.
that's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
you guys get that example that I gave with the dishes thing, right? You've seen it in movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, when the girl says,
It's like, I don't want you to do the dishes. I want you to want to do the dishes. That thing, that scenario. It's this kind of. It's like the guy gets upset that he has to do the dishes because she asked. But then he's like, well, anyway. Yeah, you guys said it. DayDay, you said it right too. It's like, I don't want to feel like it's a job. And when it reaches that point, yeah, it's not genuine, then that's the same scenario, but obviously it's more dramatic that way when you put in a movie. That's why it's funny. That's why it's part of the story. But sensible people, that shit wouldn't happen. You just talk about it. Just openly talk about it. Okay, well, so we were supposed to like wrap it up with the running. I guess, did we do that? Was that on stream? So we had a 20-kilometer goal last week, and we did it and did better. So are we adjusting for this next week?
Yes.
Is it 30 now?
I think we take our
No,
total
like-
this week and then up
Yeah.
it by 1% per person.
"Oh wow,
Take our
Wow.
total
That's a
this
lot.
week.
I didn't know this. I would have run less.
Yeah, I don't know about.
Surprise! Or
I don't know
or
about
we do
that.
the whole thing. We do the whole thing of this week. We know we ran about 60 in total. We find a city that is about 60 kilometers away from Markham or anyone's home, and then we just be like, let's run from Markham to freaking Waterloo, or let's run from Markham to Ajax, and then take that mileage. Just because you can say, oh, as a team, we ran to Ajax from Markham.
Oh well, we added
Oh, I see.
Sharon's exercise too. We're at 96.
Hold on, Sharon. What did you put down? Just all your steps in the last 7 days?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's
Okay, that's
I
not
don't
the
know.
same.
So
'Cause I
that's
have
why-
a bu-
What do you
I have
Yeah.
a way
what do you
more
average
if
at
we
work?
count that.
What do you
Yeah.
average at work? Because like my work average was like 20,000 steps a day.
20,000 is not 20,000.
Okay.
It's like 7,000.
Oh.
That's still
Say
like
if it's
what,
walking,
like
you have to divide by 2.
3K?
I don't think we should count walking.
I don't think
No.
work related moving from location to location because it's not you're not
Counts.
dedicating it to the
It's
actual
not dedicated
activity.
exercise.
You know, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, but what if I'm walking Kodiak? Does that count?
Okay, yeah. So
But that's
then
a
what if we
dedicated
say it's
exercise that's
dedicated
repetitive.
walking?
Yeah.
I think that's fine then.
No, the walking Kodiak makes sense because it's the same activity over a long duration of time, not a bunch of little
so I
ones
did
being
0
added.
to this week.
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct.
I would-
Aw.
Yes.
You have to put
It's a decision
extra
to do
time
it.
to
Yeah.
do
It's like
it.
It's okay. Well, that's why we did this is so we could talk about it after and have these conversations. So
Because this is more of like an exercise thing, right? And like they always talk about how there's a difference between activity and exercise.
Mhm.
like I'm not counting when I'm like doing my exercises because I'm not necessarily moving from place to place, but I'm exerting, but I'm not counting that even though it's dedicated decision to commit to something. I think it has to like a change in location over a dedicated amount of time.
Like yeah, like I'm not counting my steps at the grocery store towards this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to be dedicated walking to the exercise, not just the
Yeah.
activity of working, not just
But the walking the dog thing though, I would count that because it's like
That
yeah,
counts.
that's exercise. Yeah.
that's dedicated.
it's like a
walking.
distance.
That's
over-
extra time.
Yeah.
I have an opinion.
Oh, hey Kyle.
Oh,
dude, let's hear it.
I think it should be aerobic.
It should be
So like
aerobic.
if you're casually walking your dog, it's the same as walking to the grocery.
I
Even
think
though you
Tyler's
put
talking about when
time
he's in the
aside.
grocery store walking around, right?
Same thing. Like if you're just walking, that's not like to me. Exercise is you get your heart rate up, and that's probably the purpose of what you want to do. Like you want to gain some cardio fitness.
What if you power walk?
Yeah, like if you power walk, I could see that more than just walking. So I would be quicker to accept power walking than casually walking.
If my parents chose to go out for a walk around the neighborhood, they're
would
not gonna
totally
walk fast in an aerobic manner, but I would say that's a I would count that because that's them
But
doing
for an
something that they
old-
wouldn't do.
For an old
But that's their
person,
age,
just
yeah.
walking their heart rates could be
Yeah.
pumping.
Yeah,
So it could still be, like I said, a cardiovascular workout.
but you don't think walking a dog would be, or
I don't
Like
know.
you don't think walking a dog is exercise?
Like if your dog is pulling you and you end up basically jogging, chasing the dog, then that will turn into a cardio exercise. But if your dog walks with you, however fast you walk, then no. That's just my.
Cody is very well trained. He
I
doesn't-
think so. This is where we have a gray line in this challenge because everyone's level of fitness is going to vary.
yeah,
I think it's up to every individual to kind of gauge where they are at in terms of fitness. Now, the only rule I'd probably implement is that it should be dedicated walking, and I would count walking the dog if you feel that that is exercise for you.
Mhm.
And I think it's different because it's like
it's not a
it's
stroll.
a choice. Yeah, it's not like you usually don't walk Cody, for example. So if the conscious decision is to go out and walk, then I would count that.
Or like again, this is just my opinion. Don't don't care. You can shoot it down. All good. But if you're gonna walk the dog and you want to take part in this, run the dog. Dogs love to run. Just run with the dog.
I was just curious, so I asked TG. She said walking a dog is not an exercise.
Especially your little dog.
Yeah.
What do you mean he runs faster?
It's all on, I guess, how you define walk too. Like,
To me, like entering this challenge with you guys, that's what I imagine. This is it's almost like a fitness thing.
it is a fitness thing, yeah.
And that's why I put it out there that walking, you did 20,000 steps. That's a lot of walking. But if you casually did it, then maybe it's
So,
maybe, I
like,
don't know.
what if I just don't run?
You have to run and throw up.
If you don't
I
run,
don't want to throw up.
Sharon, I said we're gonna run together when I get
No,
out.
I told you I don't run.
What?
We're
Well,
See,
gonna.
for me, yeah, that's why. Like, I wouldn't want like the whole thing to deter someone from not participating.
like, you
Like,
know when you
if
go
it's-
on a
if
hike,
it's- if it's a walk
I'm
to
with you.
start, that's awesome. And then hopefully in the future it'll like build into
I'm with you.
to
But
jogging.
but
and
I'm
that.
picturing two things. So it's like
Yeah.
you could try to walk and try to walk briskly and you end up breathing heavy. That's great. That's exercise. Or you could, if you picture me walking, I could walk really slowly. I could do that and just stroll down my street for 2 hours down one road, and my heart rate's like not even changing. So
True.
I
Well,
would
yeah,
not count that.
that's a
So-
stroll.
So
has
power
to-
walk counts.
That's not a
Really
stroll. It doesn't even have to be power walk. Like, if you just briskly walk, or if you like the pace of a hike, but except on
You should be
pavement.
sweating.
Like, I don't know if you even have to be spotting.
So
yeah, 'cause,
really,
like at
in-
that point, it's discretion, right?
Yeah.
yeah, again, it
Like,
comes
what you
down to
want
the
to put down.
individual. Yeah, because like you think about it, how much did Sharon put down? 70.
Sharon put down
50?
25.
So
25K?
listen, next
25,
week, Sharon, you better do
25K?
more.
I wouldn't count it.
25K?
I can't count that.
25K.
I can't count
25
steps at work. Like, that's not
kilometers?
a dedicated activity. Like,
Yeah. So Sharon, next week it better be 30, and then the week after it better be 40.
Yeah, Sharon, this whole conversation would go away if you just start running.
no, it doesn't. No,
She's
it
gonna
wouldn't.
start running. She's
If she
gonna
went
start running.
outside,
No, I'm not.
if she went outside and walked instead of ran, it would still count that because she decided to go
Power
outside and
walk,
do
yes.
an activity. No, she could even just walk, but not stroll. Not like
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's
like-
what I,
like when I walk
like
through the
that at
mall. Like,
work.
I might not be heaving and like sweating, but I would count the pace that I would take in walking through a mall. I would count that because it's not strolling. Like, this is like a destination, and there's like
I was
whatever.
power walking at work, and that was my thing.
each
You know
each
what?
task,
I'm-
every step.
Yeah.
I'd
Always
be
power.
okay. I'd be okay if you took that, the 25K.
I said
Reason I
divide
say
by
that
5.
because no, the reason I
wouldn't.
say that is because if other people's fitness goals is to get their steps in and they got their steps in, we're hitting goals, someone's pushing themselves a little more. The whole point of this is to better ourselves.
Yeah, see, the thing is, if I put this in now, next week I work way less, which means I have
That
to do
means you have to
more
power walk
Exactly.
outside.
Yeah.
There
And would
go.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And then
you
that's
okay,
all
that's
we're
fine.
looking for.
If you're gonna
Yeah,
do
That's
the
okay.
only reason I put this in is because I wasn't able to do anything outside of that this week because I
okay.
had worked so many times.
That's
But if
fair.
you didn't work, you'd do the same amount.
I don't know.
That's what I'm
This
saying.
is
Like,
beginning.
She's gonna
No,
have to
but
now.
The
Yeah, so this is
convenience, the
beginning,
convenience,
but I will
That's
have
why this is
to
the
next
beginning,
week.
and that's
the
the
convenience
have
of
to
being
start
able to
next
do it because of something you have to do already isn't the same decision to commit to something.
So then we'll
It's not-
see what happens next week.
I just don't think it's countable. I wouldn't count it. That's my take. If I'm,
I didn't want to start any shit. I just thought I would.
Well, okay. If
That's
if
not
Sharon
starting shit. I just-
otherwise would be at work, sitting at a desk, or like sitting and not doing anything. I think that's different. If she made the conscious decision to say, okay, instead of sitting, I'm gonna power walk around the building or whatever, around the hospital.
did she do that?
Then, no. Well, that's yeah.
That's her discretion, right?
That's her discretion.
I don't think she got up and dedicated relocating for the sake of relocating and walking. She just had to do something over there, and then so she walked over there, and she's counting that distance because she had to do something over there. That's not the same, though. You know what I mean? Like, I have to go to the third floor. Let's say I'm on the first floor, and I got to walk across the building to get there. that wasn't her choice to walk that distance. She just had to go there for a task. I wouldn't count that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
She could have used the elevator.
Yeah, like
I
I'm
was
saying,
thinking-
if it's something out of what she would have done, if she has to go to the third floor and she takes the stairs instead of the elevator,
that's something.
I count that.
I would count that. Yes.
If she's like just sitting around because like she doesn't have anything to do and she walks around, I would count that.
So,
But I agree with FJ. If it's like she has to go somewhere anyway,
That doesn't
then I
Okay,
wouldn't.
don't count it.
either way, I'd be okay with taking it, but I would rather have us I'd rather implement the rule of it should be dedicated walking time.
Okay, how about this? So we can take it out for this week, and then next week when I have less work, we can count that and then see from there.
Again, has to be dedicated walking time, perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
no. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
because I don't work as much next week.
You're saying
so-
1% increase of everyone's input from this week? That's what you
No.
were
I'm
proposing?
saying one in. So how many people are on the list? 8 people.
We have 8 people.
So then we up it by 8%. Everyone should be able to go up by 1% every week.
Okay, wait.
There's that method, or like I said, we can do the fun one where it's like, what's it like going from Toronto to Hamilton? Oh, that's 40 kilometers. Cool. We did it as a team.
I just don't know if we're
Maybe
there
in
yet.
2 weeks,
I don't know if we're there yet.
let's run to Waterloo. Holy, we can do that in 2 weeks. Whoa, we ran to Waterloo in 2 weeks from Markham.
Like I kind of just since the second week, like we set a 20, which we thought was, we knew we would break it. I don't know if we knew we would crush it, but to now use the metric that we just started and then try to improve on the one that we just started, I don't know. I feel like the ramp up is a bit
too
much
soon.
from 20. Like maybe a build up to build that. Like I pushed extra because I saw the tally. I didn't know you didn't put in, and you already ran, and I was like, okay, well we got to make this up. So I pushed more than I would have wanted to, but I don't want to feel like I had.
Bad.
Well, no, that's
my
not your
bad,
that's not
man.
your fault. I saw the tally and I was like, okay, well someone's got to make it up. But now if we're using the metric that I just overly exerted, let's say for my first week or something, and now I have to improve on that, I'm not. It's less of like that.
Fair enough. Then
Incentive.
throw it
Well,
down
I
for
mean-
40 or 50.
But I mean, an
Like-
8% on, okay, so if we're not including Sharon, it's 71 and a half. 8% is 77. So that's a total of like 900, 800 meters per person. That's not terrible.
That's an
My
extra
goal
kilometer
next
a
week-
week.
It's a very reasonable increase, in my opinion.
My goal next week is not to throw up. So
I like it.
I think that's a great goal, for real.
Oh,
Yeah, but
so
he
just
could do
the-
the same distance and not increase.
Yep.
And still.
That's fine. Somebody
know,
else will
yep.
make up.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody.
Everyone's pushing
I'm all
themselves
for
in a
that.
different way.
So you
So
want
then-
so you want to make it higher than what we just hit then.
Well, it definitely has to be higher than 20.
No, yeah.
I think it should
but
be higher than
you're
what
saying
we
higher than what we just hit was higher than 70.
Then put it
so
to 70.
we hit 70.
We went from 20 to
1.5.
70.
It's not
Yeah,
gonna be like
but-
that every week.
Let's
Yeah.
make it
That's what I mean.
75.
Like,
oh jeez.
I think 75.
just as a heads up-
77, I think that's good.
My minimum from now on will be 35.
Wow.
And Warren hit 30, almost 33.
I missed a day. I
On
missed
your
my 10
own?
day.
What the hell? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
okay. I
So-
mean,
I will minimum 35 every week,
so it's got to be more than 35.
and it will be. I say a good spot is let's do 60. Feel good about it when Sharon's gonna be running and stuff.
60.
Well, that's the other thing because we're not including Sharon. So I don't know. I think
65.
we can push ourselves.
Ooh,
at least the
70.
same.
So, Dan, you started for a few weeks now, right?
This is my 3rd week.
And average weekly for you was what?
It started at it was like between 10 and 12.
Okay. And do you is your plan to, well, I guess everyone's plan if we're working
Yeah,
towards a
because
half.
this week now was like just under 13. So like for me personally, like it's fine. I just think if it's something at below 70, like I guess we could do that, but that's just I don't know. Do people not plan on doing the same? And I guess that's the question.
Mine's all based on weather. Like if it's too cold out, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go running. But I might
I'm
be
with
more
you.
inclined to walk. Just to make up numbers.
Keep it the same. Whatever we hit this week, keep it the same.
What did we hit? 70 what?
We hit 71.5.
Make it 75. Just round it nicely.
Because like even this week, like I went out, like I only logged twice, but I went out like
Yeah.
5 times, and those last 3 times it was just too cold, and I only ran 1K. I just didn't bother writing that down.
See, we would have been at 75 already.
Yeah. And again, it comes down to discretion. If you felt like it was a workout, you're throwing it down. If you didn't feel like it, it wasn't. I say 70, 75. We're safe.
I think that's a good marker.
You're already halfway there.
Did we increase number of participants from last week too?
Yes. Tyler joined a few days in.
And that was it.
Yep.
I
And Kyle?
may join.
Oh, and Jay joined too.
Like I went for a walk today.
No, I
to see
didn't.
how the temperatures. And, I mean,
I think when yeah, it's cold if you're just walking.
Yeah, I didn't realize 0 when you just go out feels cold, and then when you're running,
Yeah.
it's not bad at all. It's like it's nice. But yeah, -3, -5,
Nice.
something else.
So I guess what's the consensus?
75.
75 as a
everybody
team?
Good to 75.
All right.
As a
Okay.
space team.
Kyle, you in on this?
Sure.
If you're a maybe, then I'll just add you in anyway. No pressure.
Right.
Do you
I'll do my
do you
best.
don't you don't?
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's very doable. Just have to try out some different gear.
Okay.
In case people didn't see, this is where we're at.
Let's make that bigger on the screen there.
So fancy.
Ooh,
Killed that first target.
What is that?
wrecked it. Wrecked our goal.
Oh,
Well done. Alrighty.
I will add in Kyle.
Cake.
sweet.
Caroline.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for this one. Anyone else want to say anything?
Bird.
Did you want to decide about ideas? Continue for next week? Or just figure out another topic during the week?
Do you guys want to? You guys prep at all?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, usually I think around Sunday, Monday is when ideas start popping out, and then kind of go with it. But if someone wants to talk about actually something, though, that's cool. Then there's like prep. We can prep. You guys want to talk about anything?
To be determined. TBD.
Okay.
Next time on Dr. Phil.
Sounds good. All right.
Don't you mean Dr. Paul?
Dr. Popo Paul.
Gotta figure out how to like set this whole thing up. But already. Take care, guys. Good night. To
Okay.
whoever wants to watch this. If you like the podcast, tune in on Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, where we just talk about whatever. But yeah, thanks. BrackCast number 3. Bye. Good night.
Bye.